Everything tastes better with chocolate. Last year, I hand-dipped chocolates for everyone in my family, and it took forever. So, this year, when I saw the hot donut light and the glazing conveyor, I knew what I had to do. Make a chocolate robot. The first thing I needed was a pump to pump the chocolate. Luckily, chocolate fountains are a pretty inexpensive tool that are available easily. So, a little bit of assembly and I had myself my chocolate fountain. But I needed a new nozzle for my chocolate fountain, so I took some measurements, then started sketching it up in CAD. The biggest problem was I didn't know exactly what geometry I needed in order to make the chocolate want to flow. After a few hours on the 3D printer, then I finally had my nozzle. Next up was removing all the extra material from the pump that I didn't need. Now onto the lathe to clean up the threads and remove all the extra material. I needed a pan to catch the chocolate, so after some quick measurements, then I was off to my favorite thrift shop to find some pans for use. Back home from the thrift shop, it was time to get a conveyor to work. Luckily, I had this Chefin conveyor toaster oven I'd been playing with. It's got this awesome little removable conveyor, and it's easy to hook a motor to, so you can use it for all sorts of applications. Finding a motor wasn't too difficult. Just look in your big box of motors. You don't have a big box of motors? Well, it's time to start saving them. And that way when you need one, it's as easy as picking through the box and finding something that looks like it might work. Attaching a little flag helps visualize how quick the motor's spinning. Look at it go. Now that I've got the motor and the conveyor, it's time to connect the two. So I went into my big box of drive components and found some shaft couplers. Tried a few of them, and eventually found that the flex coupler was the one that fit the best and only needed minor modification. After drilling the coupler out on the lathe, it fit just as it was supposed to, right onto the shaft. With the conveyor completed, it was now time to go back and modify the pan to make it catch all the chocolate that was going to drip off the conveyor tray. So, started cutting it out with some sheet metal snips, and I bent it around the edge to help drip it into the pot that was going to pump the chocolate up. And pretty soon I had it all set up. With the chocolate conveyor complete, it was now time to work on the rotary tumbler. This was going to be for the chocolate-covered nuts and wasabi peas I was going to make this year. So, I got them to a close fit, and then it was time to hammer them together to really roll that edge over and combine the two together. The rotary tumbler was going to fit into everybody's favorite spot, the front of the KitchenAid. A little bit of measurements, and machining, and pretty soon I had myself the adapter that I needed to fit onto the rotary tumbler and then also into the KitchenAid. One thing I found after a test fit was that I needed a plastic bushing in order to take up the slop that was in the head. With all the parts complete, it was time to throw them all in the dishwasher and make sure they're all clean for our chocolate coating fest. To make the chocolate run smoother, I'd add a little bit of coconut oil, some chocolate chips, got it nice and stirred up really well. And then it was time to test it out with some wasabi peas and add some chocolate in there. After that, it was time to move on to the chocolate fountain. Turned out I needed something to help force the chocolate out as it wanted to just go everywhere. But with a sturdy, heavy mug on top redirecting the flow, we were now in business. It was coating chocolate like it was Willy Wonka's factory. Well, I hope you guys liked that video. I definitely learned a lot. I learned that making chocolate nozzles is not the easiest thing in the world. I also learned that you end up wasting and messing a lot of chocolate up when you are putting it into a conveyor system. It gets everywhere, and that is why there are 3 belts on typically a enrobing machine like I just showed you. And I also learned that you want to add small amounts of chocolate at a time when you're using the rotary chocolate coater. Too much and just becomes a problem and clumps around. Overall, I'd say the enrobing machine was a great success. Super happy with it. Would definitely use it again. And the chocolate rotary and coating machine, not as much of a success, but then again, I didn't really have a ton of time to play with it. Overall, everything ended up covered in chocolate and tasted awesome, so I can't complain. If you like this video, please like and subscribe because I am always trying to do cool new projects and I want to share them with all of you. Thanks.